Welcome to Sprattronics Learning Lab. We're going to be building Mission 11 from the first LEGO League Challenge Masterpiece robot game. And Mission 11 is the light show. We're going to use some worm gear technology to create rotation that can enhance the way lights move in a light show. You're going to trigger the light show on the tower by raising the handles. This is built with bag number 10 from the first LEGO League Masterpiece season, and you're going to need some extra pieces to go along with this. This round one, 4 of these black beams that have peg holes in both sides, and then a blue beam as well, and then these 2 extra long axles. Let's dive right in to our directions for building the light show. Start with the white rectangle, and we will put 2 black Technic pegs on the inside of it. These are tough to get to in there for my hands, but there we go. We're going to add 5 more Technic connector pieces all the way around, and this is going to help us to build a base for our light show. And on one side, we're going to be putting a connector piece right in the middle, and it's on the opposite side of these 2 pegs. Next thing we're doing is taking one of these gray, I call them H's, but this is only half of it, these gray pieces. We'll plug 2 blue connector pieces in, and then we'll put it inside our rectangle. Next, we're building with the blue beam. We're going to need 4 more of these long blue connector pieces, and they're going to go in to the end, skipping 1 hole, and then into the middle, skipping a hole as well. You'll know you've done it right when you can count 3 gaps in between the 2 sections. So let's take a look. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Next, we're taking 2 of these black short beams that are only about 7 long, and then 8 of these little red Technic to LEGO connector pieces, and we are going to put them on each end in doubles, and we're going to do that 2 times. Next, we're taking 2 of these long beams that have holes on both sides, and we are lining it up just like this, and they're going to go into the very bottom 2 blue pieces. And right next to that is going to be our 2 short pieces that we just put red pegs into. We're going to take 4 of the LEGO Technic connector pieces, the red ones, and they're going to go directly below the blue pegs, and they're going to leave a gap of 3 spaces at the very bottom. That's how we know we're doing this correctly. You may have to adjust the camera here, but now we're going to stand this up and plug this into these 2 black pieces in the bottom. All right, now our tower is standing, and we are going to have to adjust the angle of our camera so that you can see that. We'll start putting together one of our bases right now, and so we take a white 11 long piece, and we're going to put in 2 of these blue single to double length Technic pieces, leaving a space of 2 on both sides. Attach 2 more directly to it. I like to set mine straight on the table so I can just use the table to press down on it, and that force lets them attach easily. We'll take 4 Technic connector pieces now and plug in 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. Next, we'll take 2 of these short pieces, plug them straight into the top and the bottom, and then we'll stand up our tower facing this way and attach one side of the base to it, and we're going to build a whole nother base the same way. Again, taking an 11 long piece and those double blue pieces, We're gonna attach 2 more beams onto it. Take 4 black connector pieces so that our small 2 long beams can attach to it. We'll attach our 2 short beams and then attach our base to the bottom of our tower. We're going to keep on adding to the top of our tower by attaching 2 more of these black beams that have pegs on both sides. Go. 1 more. We'll take 10 of these red Lego to Technic pieces and we are going to plug those in on both sides, filling up the rest of the holes. 5 on both sides. There we go, we've got our tower coming together nicely. Stand your tower up, and we're going to take 2 of these axle extenders and place them right on those blue pegs. Next, we're going to build our gear assembly using these pieces right here. And we take the white piece, plugging the white square, plugging 2 Technic connector pieces into it. On the other side, we'll plug this little half gray piece into it. The white axle piece will go on the top with the gear right on top of it. And then out this side, the gray piece, we'll put our blue peg. And this is going to attach into these black pieces. And when we plug it in, it should stand right over these axle extender pieces. These are not attached yet. We are going to be dropping some long axles down into them to connect those together. We'll take one of these gray pieces and just drop it right on the top of the axle so that it can slide all the way down. Above that piece, we're going to take one of these half pieces, attach it to the axles, and just drop it all the way down. Right now this stuff is loose on here so that it can move easily. We'll take a white T-piece, and this is how we are going to attach the blue on the bottom into that gray piece that we just slid on. I haven't plugged it in yet, but I am going to put a black Technic connector piece into the front of it and press this in so that they attach. Excellent. So now this can't slide up and down. This piece can still turn, but now we're not sliding freely anymore. Over all these exposed Technic pieces, we're going to put a 7 long beam to brace everything together. Into this gray piece, we're going to add an 11 long axle, and it's going to be able to just slide back and forth, and this should lock this gear from being able to go in reverse. Take a tan piece, and on the back side, just above where our gray piece can go, we'll plug it in. All right, we're going to lay this white beam down so that the short side is on top, the long side is angled back towards us. We'll place this tan piece into the axle portion of it. Then we're going to come plug it in right above this so that it rests on top of that. Not on top of it, we want it to rest under it. Right there, just like that. Move this one up 1. All right, this tan piece goes in between these 2 pieces. This piece can go up above it, under it, and hold this in place. There we go. All right, I'm gonna lay this down so you can see us, but starting at the top, we're gonna take 4 of these pieces and we're going to leave 3 empty red pegs at the top on both sides, and we're going to attach these white pieces going all the way up. And again, on the other side, we'll leave these 3 red pieces alone. Attach this white panel to it. All right, we're going to build from the bottom, and we are going to start with 1 white panel on this first side, and then 2 yellow panels going up. We'll do the same thing on the opposite side, starting on the bottom. 1 white panel at the bottom, 2 yellow smooth pieces on top of that. At the very top of both sides, we'll take these white 1x6 bricks, it looks like, and attach them onto the red pieces at the top of both sides. And we're going to keep building up from there using a blue piece and then a small green piece, that's a 2x1, a longer green piece, and then a 1x3 white piece for the very top. So we should cover up all of our pegs on both sides. Again, we start with blue, we do the small green, slightly longer green, and we finish it off with a 1x3 white piece. These are going to be our score indicators for this mission. We'll stand this up now, and I'm excited for this next part where we are going to start building our worm gear. And we have several of these worm gears. On top of it, we'll put this little red axle piece, and then we can put this on top of our gear that we already have inside there. And so that's pressed in with the red piece on top. We're now going to build, I think it's the score carrier or the arm. So we'll take a 2x4 flat piece and 2 2x1s, put those immediately on top of that. And then in between them, we have this piece that has the hole in it. So we'll place that just like that. On both sides of this piece that has the hole in it, we're going to put a 2x1 with an axle hole inside the middle of it. And then to even everything out along the top, we'll take these 2x1 flat pieces to make a nice big rectangle with a hole right in the middle. On the top of this, we want to smooth it out, so we'll put a 2x4 smooth piece, and then we'll flip this upside down, and we're going to attach 2 of these pieces that can slide across an axle. And so they should be facing the same direction as the hole, and then in each side of here, we're going to put a gray axle piece. And these axles are 7 bricks long. Next, we're going to add 2 of these black wheels as well as some pointer arrows onto this. And I have mine turned so that these 2 holes are on the bottom. I'll put a black wheel on both sides. And then I want my arrows pointing straight up with these 2 pieces on the bottom. And then on the end, we will attach an orange piece, and that's our indicator that this is where our robot should be interacting with this arm. It's time to attach this piece onto our tower. And so those 2 holes are going to line up inside the axles. You'll see that our arrows kind of keep it on there. And we can just slide that all the way down. And we want the big hole to go through that worm gear. There we go. Now everything is poking through just right. Into our very top of our tower, we're going to take 2 of these axle extender pieces and put a blue peg that has an axle piece on one side and a Technic connector piece on the other. 2 blue pegs, and those are going to cap these extra long axles that we have. So put one there, another one right here. Looks good. Now we're going to build out our worm gear, and so we take a worm gear and one of these red pieces, put another worm gear on top of it to make it longer. We'll take another red piece and put it on both sides, so 2 of those red mini axles. and we are going to extend out our worm gear a little bit longer. So this piece right now has 1, 2, 3, 4 worm gears on it. And that looks like I've used up all the worm gear, so now I'm ready to just drop it straight down in here and attach it to my worm gear that's already inside. So now we have a worm gear that goes all the way up to the top. We're going to build a support for the very top by attaching the white square to one of these gray half H's. This gray piece is going to plug into those 2 blue pieces that we used earlier. There we go. We'll line this up, and we're going to use 2 of these black locking pieces to go through the very top hole and into the white piece. And we want to press those all the way through so that it locks into place. There we go. So that has secured everything. Now we need to figure out how to attach this worm gear to the center. I'll set this off to the side. We're going to start working with this white circle. First thing we're going to do is put a blue Technic and axle piece into these holes that axles can go into. In all the other holes, we're going to add a black Technic connector piece, so that's 4 other spots. All right, we are going to grab all these colored 7 long beams. I'll just lay them out right here. And into one end of each of them, we're going to put a blue piece that has an axle connector on one side. And we're putting the Technic connector piece into it. And so you should end up with 6 of these. Go. I need just one more. There we go. And then these are going to attach in the 3rd spot, all meeting with that blue axle piece right in the middle. So I accidentally put that one in the 4th spot. Blue axle piece all the way in the middle, plugging it into the 3rd spot. So there's 2 blanks, and then we have that piece poking out. A couple of blues. Another green. And then finally the orange piece. And they all line up right there in the middle. And then to hold them all together at just the right distance, we are going to slide one of these wheels over all of them. And that'll hold them all in the right spot. Next, we're going to attach all of these little blue axle pieces with these yellow axle end pieces. So you'll need 6 of those. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put these lights, or diamonds, into the shorter end of these white pieces. So we're going to make 6 of them, and into each of them we are just going to attach them into one of our lights. So this is one of the final steps of our light show. You could match up the colors if that's something you wanted to do. All right, excellent. So each of my beams has a light now in the bottom of it. For this final step, what we're going to do, we're going to start with the black axle. This one is 8 long, and into the end of it, we're just going to put a triangle beam, and then we are going to slide it through this large white piece so that it attaches just like that. And then into the bottom of it, we need to slide a little circle that has an axle hole in it so that it'll attach and grip that axle piece. and hold everything together. And then we're going to put one of these red couplings into the bottom of it. And next, we are going to put our lights with the yellow bushings facing up. Slide that right in there. And then one more red coupling to hold it on the end. So when you look at the bottom, you should see these blue pieces. You should not see any lights. When you look at the top, we see the lights are all at the top. And the way we're going to attach this into the very top, actually we have one more piece to add. We're going to add a yellow coupling piece in there. All right, into the last piece, we're going to put this yellow piece on. And now we are going to be able to attach it into the top, catching that worm gear as well. So as the worm gear turns, our light show will turn as well. And lining that up is going to take 2 hands and just a little bit of fidgeting to get it there. Awesome. All right, we have built our light show, and whenever the worm gear turns, it spins our light at the top, and it can go either way. You can flip this switch just a little bit, and it'll lock it in place so it can't go down.